Hello, hello, hello. We are live again. I apologize for the abrupt me going out of the room, but we're back nonetheless. And we're going to be dealing with this topic of rejection. This is going to be the second most powerful video you've ever watched about the spirit of rejection. This is going to be the second most powerful video. So do me a favor as you come in, let me know that you're here. Make sure that you like and share, and that's that. And again, I don't have a whole lot of time to give to you guys because I have class tonight. Today is a teaching day for me. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of teaching. So again, my sincerest apologies for running out of here so abruptly. So that being said, we're going to be getting into it. I'm going to jump right into the lesson because we don't have a whole lot of time. But before I get into it again, what I was mentioning on the last one is that I'm going to be, matter of fact, I'm going to set up a screening for Esther Prep University because I'm going to bring in 50 new students, but I want to screen them first. I want to make sure that I screen them first. So I'm going to set up a screening for Esther Prep University. If you are interested in becoming a member of Esther Prep University and you would like to be a part of this screening, and now understand that Esther Prep University is not free, so I'm not asking you, don't come to the screening if you can't afford it. Let me make that clear, make that abundantly clear, because I don't want anybody to come to the screening and then be like, I sure would like to, but I just don't have the money. No, no. So that's the first thing that you have to work on. But the thing is, if you are interested in becoming a part of Esther Prep University, it's a mentorship for a year. I'm going to do a Zoom call and it's going to be a screening. I'm going to bring some of my students on there to help me with the screening. If you're interested in being a part of Esther Prep and you want to learn more about Esther Prep, then email us at support@anointedfire.com. I'll make sure I put it over here. Again, serious inquiries and only, don't come to it if you know that you're not planning to get into the program. You can't afford to be in a program. You just want to play mind games, because this is not you coming for a sponsorship. I have not found any sponsors as of yet. Nobody has volunteered to sponsor anybody. So that's that. Only come if you have genuine questions and you are interested in being a part of your Esther Prep University. I want to take 50 new people. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this is because, and I hate to say this, but this is before I get into the message, but y'all need mentorship. Like, for real, we have to come to understand what's good, what's wrong, what's right. We have to come to understand that, because in all our honesty, the more I mentor, the more I teach, the more I come to realize a lot of people just don't know. And this is why Jesus said, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. People do stuff and they don't know it's wrong. They don't know that that's not something that's good. They don't know that this is dishonor. They don't know that this is witchcraft. They don't know that. They just do it and they keep dealing with the results of their actions and they don't know why. The Bible says that they're in darkness and they don't know what makes them stumble. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing that heavily, and it's been really, really frustrating. And it just puts the burden on me so much more to take some women under my wing so that I can teach. And I hate to say it this way, but I can teach what our parents didn't teach us, what our mothers didn't teach us. I can teach you, but that's why I said the screening, because I want to give you a clear view of Esther Prep University. I don't want anybody coming into Esther Prep blindly anymore. I don't want anybody coming in with a trial mindset. I don't want people coming in who can't afford the program and you just scraping to stay up in the program. I want people who are hungry for change in their lives. I want you to pay attention to me as I'm saying this: hungry for change. You want to know what's right. You want to know what's wrong. You want to come into a community, because the strength of Esther Prep University is our community. It's not, because I have to make it clear, Esther Prep is not having access to me. Yes, I do teach Esther Prep. We got our class tonight. We got our deliverance session within the next 2 weeks. So we have a lot of powerful things going on in Esther Prep, but you will not have my phone number. I say that because we do have students that come in with unrealistic expectations, and when they don't get what they want, a lot of times they throw a tantrum, and sometimes that tantrum could be sending me a nasty email or trying to come against me talking about I want my money, and it's all out of frustration because they don't feel like they have the access to me that they want. They don't feel like, well, I thought I was going to be on the phone with you. I had a student one time told me, I thought I was going to get your phone number. And I was like, no, who told you that? I'm not going to have, that's not how this works. It's mentorship. You're not coming into here to become my friend. I'm not looking for a bestie. I'm looking for people who want to change. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who want to change their lives. I'm not looking for besties. Please understand, becoming my bestie is not no thing. That's not something that you're going to get. I'm saying that so that I can make sure that this is part of my screening. This is part of my screening. And let me say this, if you're already in ministry and you feel like you're trying to create a connection rather than be mentored, Esther Prep is not for you. Let me just put that out there. If you're in ministry and you come in, you kind of feel like being all around the other females is beneath you because you feel like you're higher than that, Esther Prep is not for you. Because I've noticed not everybody, but some people that come in that are already in ministry, a lot of times they have that mindset like everybody else is beneath me. I can't believe, well, Tiffany and I, we supposed to be forming a connection, an alliance, or what have you. Esther Prep is not for you. I'm not looking for people like that. If you're in ministry, come join. I think you will get something great out of it. But it's one of those things where you have to humble yourself. It's one of those things where you have to remain humble. So I'm looking for 50 new women. And the reason is because I want to change this world, like for real. Seriously, I want to kill, I want to eradicate some of the mindsets out there. I want to destroy some of the mindsets. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with honor. Tonight, we're going to be dealing heavily with honor. And so the next week, we're probably going to deal with it a little bit more. And then after that, we're doing deliverance. I'm doing deliverance. That's just been my heart's passion. So if you want to be a part of a community of women and if you say, hey, Sister Tiffany, I don't have a family, trust me, we family there. So if you want to come, if you want to be a part of a community of women, come and join. So if you're interested, email support@anointedfire.com and you can come to the screening. I'm doing screenings from this point on. Email support@anointedfire.com and you can come to the screening. I'm not sure about the mass deliverance yet. I'll keep you guys posted. All right. So rejection in the Bible. The first thing I want to talk about is rejection in the Bible. Again, I don't have a whole lot of time because I have Esther Prep 2.0 tonight and I have Esther Prep 1.0 tonight. So I got to watch the time. Matter of fact, let me make sure I set myself an alarm so that I don't go past that time because I'll get caught up in this message, Hey Siri, set my alarm for 7:30 p.m.
I turned on. Can't set an alarm here. How about a reminder instead? What do you want to be reminded about?
Call. I forgot my computer was Apple. All right. Anyhow.
All right. I've added it to reminders.
I forgot my computer was Apple. I forgot that it was going to respond to. I got an Alexa device. I should have spoke to Alexa. That's what I should have did. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this message. The first thing I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you 6 cases of rejection in the Bible. 6 cases of a rejection in the Bible. And again, this is one of the reasons that the Lord has burdened me to talk about this is because rejection is the strong man in most deliverances. Most traumatized people that are out there, most people out there are dealing with rejection. When you go to the grocery store, 80 to 90% of the people in the store are dealing with rejection. And probably even more than that. Most people are dealing with rejection. And consequently, people are walking around hurting people. It's just like we're in this big pool, this big orgy of hurting people. And that's been the trend in the United States. And so I feel really bad for the kids that are coming up, in this era, because a lot of them are going to have to deal with the pain of their parents. But anyhow, rejection in the Bible. First people that dealt with rejection was Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. Now, first and foremost, they rejected God before he rejected them. But he didn't fully reject them. He gave them a separation, not a divorce. He divorced himself from Satan and his angels, but he separated himself from Eve, or he separated Eve and Adam from himself. That means he gave them a chance of reconciliation, but the enemy, he divorced the enemy. So Adam and Eve. Thank you, Brother Andre. God bless you. Thank you. So he divorced himself from Satan. The first rejection in the Bible, of course, was Lucifer rejecting God. Let's not forget that. Lucifer rejecting God. And this is Lucifer having this grand idea that he wanted his own kingdom. He wanted to be his own God, which is asinine because you have the perfect God in front of you. But y'all got to hear this. He had options. Heaven is good, God is good. You may say, well, how did evil come to pass and what have you? Well, the thing about it is God gave us all free will. So you go back to the Garden of Eden. What he did with Adam and Eve is he put a tree in the midst of that garden. And he said, don't eat from that tree. He didn't have to put that tree in the midst of that garden. But if he had not put that tree in the midst of that garden, it would make no sense for them to have free will. It would make no sense because then they couldn't choose. And so God wants us to choose him. God wants us to choose to do right. God wants us to choose holiness. God wants us to choose him time and time again. And it's very similar to us. We want people to choose us. We don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who didn't choose us, not unless you're crazy. Only people who are crazy would go to a witch and try to put somebody under a spell and try to force that person into wanting them. No, a sober-minded person, I want you to want me back. I want you and I want you to want me back. That's just sober mindedness or what have you. So, Lucifer, chances are the Bible doesn't talk about what temptation Lucifer and the angels had, but they had free will, which also meant that there was something there, that there was something there. The presence of darkness was there. They could choose. They could choose. And so God will put you in the midst of something and he'll say, don't touch that, because he doesn't want to hijack your will. And you have to remember that when it comes to relationships as well, because a lot of times you are over here praying to God to change this person, to make him, God, make him leave that girl alone. I'm his wife or what have you. And God is like, he has free will. He gets to choose. And I get it, baby. I know it hurts. But guess what? He rejected me far before he rejected you. So listen, I can grieve with you because I feel your pain. But a lot of times we end up getting upset with God, not realizing that the sin is first against the Most High God before it trickles down to you. So Adam and Eve. First, we'll just say Lucifer. So we'll make that 7. Lucifer rejected God. Lucifer rejected God. God ended up divorcing Lucifer. Lucifer didn't expect that change. And then what he did was he tempted Adam and Eve with the same crime. Adam and Eve fell into the trap, but God separated himself from them. He did not give them a writing of divorce. He gave them the chance of reconciliation. And we all have that same chance as well. Number 2, no, we'll say number 2 was Adam and Eve. Number 3, Joseph. Joseph was rejected by his brothers. He was immature. He was the babe. 9 times out of 10, Joseph could have had, the situation. The Bible says that, he was the son of his father's old age. His father favored him. And many of us, we've grown up in households where our parent favored another child. And a lot of times when they favored that child became very spoiled and entitled. And they saw the world from a different point of view, what have you. And I can tell you, with my little sister, she was like that. And me and my brother, a lot of times, I couldn't stand my brother. I couldn't stand my sister. None of us could stand each other. Thank you, Mommy Cammy. God bless you. But none of us could stand each other. Nevertheless, one thing that we could stand in agreement with was that my sister was spoiled rotten. And to this day, she claims that's her trauma, is us calling her spoiled. But she was spoiled rotten. She had a different perspective of the world. And because of that, a lot of times, we were calling ourselves trying to humble her, which we caused some great deal of trauma in her life as well, because we were mad at the fact that my mom was, spoiling her. We were mad at it because we felt like my mom was messing her up. But Joseph's brothers, they're looking at this little bitty, probably snot-nosed boy walking around with this coat of many colors, or what have you. They out there doing all this hard work, and then he come out there, daddy, they're not clean. They didn't clean up behind the bulls, daddy. The goat you told them to kill in the dress, they didn't kill that one. They liked that one. They killed another one, daddy. It's not the same, daddy. So they began to despise their brother. They started having this sibling rivalry. Consequently, they made this decision to kill Joseph. Then they changed their mind. They sold him off into slavery, faked his death, and he ends up coming on the right hand to Pharaoh or what have you. So Joseph, he experienced rejection from his brothers. We'll say this one is going to be number 3. Thank you, Sister Yolanda. God bless you. God bless you. We'll say this is going to be that was number 3. This is number 4, Ham and Noah. Ham rejected his father through dishonor. That is a form of rejection. When you dishonor a person, first it starts off with you rejecting them in your heart. You're rejecting their ideology, rejecting some aspect to them, or what have you. And it's very similar to marriage. Understand this: when you're married, you can reject your spouse while still wanting them. You can, but you're not necessarily wanting the fullness of who they are. You start rejecting some aspects to them, and the spouse can start dealing with in-house rejection. They can still start dealing with in-house rejection. The Lord reminded me of this the other day after I had went live. I forgot, and I don't even know if I want to tell this story, but it's an embarrassing story. Y'all say it with me. It's an embarrassing story. But something that I had something I dealt with when I was married. My ex, I had moved to Germany with this ex of mine, and I don't remember what I was mad. Now, I was immature. Immature. Y'all remember this? I was immature. I was still a babe in Christ. I just didn't know. I was mad at him, fired up, man. 9 times out of 10, mad about that relative of his that was just always just in our business every day. He wasn't doing nothing about it. So I'm in Germany. I don't know the language. I don't know anybody there. I get really mad. I get really mad at him, blazing mad. And I was immature. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. So I'm sitting up there. I'm mad at this man. And he does the one thing that an angry woman cannot stand. It's nighttime. He went to bed. I can't even sleep because I'm so mad, but this joker got the nerves to go to sleep without fixing it. He got the nerves to go to bed. Brothers, I'm gonna tell you something. That is the one thing that women can't stand, is that when we're tormented and you trying to sleep peacefully. Oh, no, 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 no. How dare you lay up in that bed and be laying there snoring? So bro man went to bed. And the computer was in the bedroom or what have you. Thank you, Percy. God bless you. But I'll deal with church rejection. But the computer was in the bedroom. I had what was called a magic jack that allowed me to call into America. So I called my bestie at the time, and she didn't like the man I was married to. She didn't like him at all. I called her. Now he behind me snoring. I'm ticked off because he got the nerves to go to bed. And he ain't trying to fix nothing. So I called my bestie, and I started talking about this man right there. He literally behind me. I'm in a computer chair. The bed's like right there behind me. I'm talking about him. He stopped snoring. I know he can hear me, but I'm passively trying to let him know I'm ticked off. And I'm trying to let him see, because I was immature, I'm trying to let him see the height of how mad I was. The height. So I'm on the phone. I'm like, Gary, now he let her girl control. I said, no, we're gonna be single because nobody got time for that. I'm doing like young women do, just acting stupid. It was a dumb thing. Anyhow, I'm talking about him to his face while he's asleep. He stopped snoring. He lets me go all the way in. Talk about his family, talk about him. I do all of that. Then she was like, all right, well, girl, I gotta go. I said, okay. So when I hang up the phone, he get out the bed with his boxes on. He come and said, excuse me. I was like, what? He said, excuse me. Indicated for me to get up from the computer. Dude sat down at the computer and typed in a cheap airline. It was a cheapflights.com. It was one of them airline flights. He tried to buy me a ticket to send me back to America. And let me show you. It was very immature, very immature. He tried to buy me, and I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, you're not happy here? I can send you back. You just sat here, you talked about me, and I can send you back. And my life flashed before my eyes. It dawned on me. I really didn't have nowhere to go back in the United States, but back to my mom's house to deal with her and that crazy boyfriend that she had at the time. And this situation, while it was not ideal, so y'all, I went into survivor's mode. I started pushing the chair, move. You're not gonna buy me no flight. He was like, no. So we kind of fighting over the keyboard. I'm like, you're not buying me no flight. Because that wasn't the idea in my little twisted mind at the time. The idea in my mind was that he would hear me. This is stupid and asinine, ladies. Don't do this. I learned so you wouldn't have to. But the idea in my mind was that he would hear and maybe he'll try to fix it. That don't work with guys. It was just, definitely had to be in my movie. It was just, first and foremost, you don't air what's going on in your house out to other people. That is just straight up dishonor. It was disrespect. It was me rejecting him to his face. It was me rejecting him to his face, and not only doing that, but doing so publicly. And when this brother got up and started trying to book, I'm talking about, he typed in a flight, and I'm like, no. So first I'm like, okay, well, go ahead. I'm gonna call this bluff. He pulled it up, found a flight, went to get his credit card. Y'all, I closed that site out. I was like, he went and got his card, and he was trying to put I'm like, I think he halfway got his card number in there. I don't remember if I unplugged the computer. I don't remember what I did, but I was like, you are not sending me back to America. You are not sending me back. But the Lord reminded me of that the other day. I literally forgot all about that story, and I felt secondhand embarrassment. It was humiliating and humbling at the same time. But there is a lesson in that. You have to be very mindful of, first and foremost, don't get married when you're immature. Don't get married when you're immature. Secondly, you don't put your business out there like that. Thirdly, he did my tail right. Right? He called my bluff. He actually did me right. It wasn't right what I did. I didn't like what he did. He was wrong. But the way that I handled it was wrong. He did me right. And bro, you talk about, you think I ever did that again? Do you think I ever did that again? Nope. Nope. Because he sat up there and bro man was trying to buy me a ticket. But I think I started thinking about that because I started thinking about people that I've had that wanted to live in my house, and I'm like, you don't even honor me. I was thinking about the topic of honor, and I'm like, you don't want to live with somebody who has no honor for you, no respect for you. You don't want nobody in your house, not even visiting, who has no honor or respect for you. And the Lord reminded me of that incident. And I'm like, wow, that was high level dishonor that I gave him in that moment. And he got up out that bed and he was like, let me get you a ticket. Let me get you a ticket. I'm like, wait, I was darn near about to flip his chair over. Like, you are not sending me back. All right. That was just one of those things. Number four, we were saying Ham and Noah. Ham had an idea about his father. Um, Ham had a bad idea about his father. And when he saw his father nakedness, he decided to uncover him. Now, you may say, that didn't seem like that big of a deal at the time. In all our honesty, it was dishonor. And we use that in ministry to help people to understand the dangers of uncovering your leader. Because a lot of times you're not going to necessarily understand your leader. You're not going to necessarily agree with your leader. Nevertheless, you have to be very mindful that you don't uncover them, because then you may find some type of error, or you may find them in a vulnerable position or what have you, and you see that as an opportunity to expose. But in his heart, when he did that, he had already rejected his father. He had already, and that's a power move at the same time, because what he was doing was he was demeaning, degrading, devaluing his father. And consequently, whenever people did that type of thing, it usually signified that they were about to take a power seat. And so he tried to expose his dad to his brothers. And the next thing he would have done behind that, and it's very similar to what Lucifer did, even though he had nothing to expose on God, he twisted the truth and created a lie. This is why the Bible calls him the father of all lies. And so Ham did very similar to his father, what Lucifer did. Consequently, a generational curse was born. Noah woke up, realized what his son had done to him, and he cursed Canaan, which was Ham's son. He spoke a generational curse, and he said, your son, they're going to be a slave. They're going to be servants to your brothers. And the Canaanites have remained an enemy of the Jews, or what have you. Ham and Noah. Number four, David. And this is rejection in the Bible. David. He was rejected. Now, there's a theory that he's rejected by his father. We don't have any evidence. We have what we can call supporting evidence. We can literally build a case against his father, but the Bible does not specifically say that he was rejected by his father. But the Jews have a belief that, okay, when Samuel came there looking for, when Samuel came there, the prophet Samuel came, and God said, hey, in Jesse's sons, one of his sons is the one I've called. I'm anointed to be king over Israel. And he come, and Jesse presents 7 of his sons, but he doesn't present David. David is out in the field. Why are all these guys in the house? And why is David in the field? And there are some Jewish myths about that. And one of the myths, I'm not going to go into it, but that he didn't believe that David was his father, that David was his son and what have you, but he lived David's mother, but that's not in the Bible. So that's extra biblical, but that's one of the theories. Nevertheless, David likely suffered rejection from his father, which is why David made some of the decisions that he made. David, of course, we know, was rejected by his brothers when he went out onto the battlefield. They're like, we already know why you're here. You're just messy, what have you. And then, of course, he dealt with rejection from his leader, Saul. He had such honor for Saul, but Saul wanted to kill him because of jealousy and competition. Number 5, Esther. Esther dealt with a different type of rejection. She wasn't physically, they didn't reject her, in their will, but they passed away. Her parents passed away. And children who are fosters, children who lose a parent to death, a lot of times it's no different of a feeling. They still feel rejected by that parent. They still feel abandoned by that parent. So Esther. And then obviously number 7 is Jesus. Number 7 is Jesus. And I'll give you the list again because I had them numbered wrong because I added Lucifer. Lucifer rejected God. Adam and Eve rejected God. Joseph was rejected by his brothers. Ham rejected his father. David was rejected by his father allegedly, his brothers, and by Saul. Esther felt rejected by her parents because they passed away on her, what have you. And then there is Jesus. Jesus was rejected by the Jews. The people that he was called to, he was rejected by the Jews. So that's rejection in the Bible. That's rejection in the Bible. It's to get you to understand that rejection is commonplace. It's not new. They dealt with it in the Bible, and you will deal with it as well. Jesus said if they rejected him, then they're going to reject you. And who are they? This is what I learned. Typically, rejection doesn't come from the world. It's going to come from church folk. Rejection typically doesn't come from the world. It's going to most of the time come from people who are in the church. So moderators, do me a favor. The people that put this stuff like Board Ed up here, please pull them down. Don't let that stuff stay up here. Don't let that stuff stay up there. It's just spam. But I want to give you some more signs and symptoms of rejection. And like I said, I'm not going to finish this. So this is going to be a series. I'm going to do the last part. I may come back tonight and do the last part. I have Esther Prep University at 7:45. I'm going to try to get out of here by 7:30. And then so that I can go and teach. I got Esther Prep University 2.0. And then at 9 o'clock, I got Esther Prep University 1.0. So this is a teaching day for me. But I may come back and finish it tonight. If I don't finish it tonight, no, I tell you what, I'll finish it tomorrow because I typically go live on Wednesdays anyway. So I'll come back tomorrow night and tell you how to overcome the spirit of rejection. Okay. Signs and symptoms of rejection. Number 1, remember the last time I think I gave you like 20 something signs. So today I'm going to give you probably 10 more. And if I repeat, 12. If I repeat anything I said, count it to my head, not my heart. So number 1, you reject others because everyone else has rejected them. This is a sign of rejection. You reject others because everyone else has rejected them. So think about school. Popular girl, you have a new girl come to the classroom, and it's not just in school. You see this in every industry and every age group. But I just use school because we've seen this popularized in high school. New girl comes into the classroom, but the popular girl rejects her, maybe because of jealousy or insecurity or what have you. You are not a part of the popular clique, but you are sheep. Most people are sheep. They follow the popular girl. They follow popular people or what have you. So most people are going to mirror or mimic what they see the other person do or what have you. So you watch the popular girl, you see the new girl, you notice that the popular girl looks at the new girl like this. So you know what? You find yourself doing that to her as well. Remember, whenever I say something that relates to you, raise your hand because I want you to diagnose rejection within yourself, because this is going to be, sometimes you can get deliverance through teaching. And so this is going to be a deliverance teaching so that you can get free from the spirit of rejection. But you reject others that other people have rejected. Most people won't admit to this, but this is what I found. The majority of people are sheep. And I found this because I've hosted and I've taught many classes. And so I'm always looking for the leaders in a class, because the leaders are typically the ones that's going to stand up first. Thank you, Sister Priscilla. God bless you. They're going to be the ones that stand up first. They're going to be the ones that if you say, okay, do we need this or did we do that? They're going to be like, yeah. And the other people are kind of just waiting. The other people are kind of just seeing who's going to. And so within any classroom setting, every teacher knows this or should know this. Within every classroom setting, the 90% of your students, or maybe 95% of your students, are going to be sheep. Then you're going to have a good leader. The good leader has to be willing to deal with rejection, because the good leader is going to be the one that says, hey, we had homework, hey, which is going to annoy the rest. Then you're going to have bad leaders. Those are going to be your bumps on the log, the people that don't want to do nothing. They're hoping you forgot the homework. They don't want to show up. They're rebelling. And they kind of do it openly and loudly. And because even though they're doing something wrong, and most people are sheep, if people see that person doing that, then everybody kind of turns and follows that person's lead. So in any classroom setting, any type of corporate setting, any communal setting, if you don't have that leader in that classroom, then the bump on the log is going to take the lead. We got 2 weeks to do this. That's a lot to do in 2 weeks. And everybody else going to join in. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you always want to have that leader, but you reject others because everyone else has rejected them. You reject others because everyone else has rejected them. Most people won't admit to this, but 90% of people do that. I am a living witness to that. You reject others because everyone else has rejected them. You lean to people's opinions and preferences before making a decision about your life. You lean to people's decisions and preferences with about your life. So even I'll give you an example of that. A lot of times, women do it all the time. So Mark asked me out. What do you think of him? What does it matter what they think of Mark? If you like him and he likes you, what does it matter? But women do it all the time because we don't want to get caught up, with somebody and somebody look at us and go, ew, you like him? Ew. No hands are going up, but the majority of you do that. Thank you for the honesty, Sister Cynthia. Thank you for the honesty. A lot of people don't admit to it, but deliverance starts with you admitting to it. A lot of people are ashamed to admit that they're sheep. They're ashamed to admit that they're sheep. But I have organizations. I have different things that I run. Most people are sheep. Most people are sheep. That's why every time in anything I get, when I do have that positive leader and that positive leader go, we are celebrating that positive leader. And it can take off the people that are bouncing along because they see that person getting celebrated. And it's like, but you're not even trying. You're not even trying. But that positive leader, a lot of times they're gonna have to deal with the rejection from the other people who feel like you're doing the most. You're doing the most. Number two, you reject yourself when others reject you. Remember, raise your hand. This is interactive. We getting free. You reject yourself when others reject you. If this is you, anytime I say something that relates to you, raise your hand because I want you to get free. You reject yourself when others reject you. And you come into a setting, people don't like you. Now you're changing your hair. Now you're sitting up there, or you start insulting yourself in order to make them feel better. You start insulting yourself. Come on. That shirt is cute. This old thing, I probably look like I'm 600 pounds in this shirt. I probably look like I'm 600 pounds because what you're doing is you're trying to say to them, I am no threat to you. I am no threat to you because instinctively you've picked up that this person has an alpha personality. And so you picked it up instinctively. And so now what you do is you insult yourself in front of people in an attempt to make them feel better or make them feel less threatened. Make them feel less threatened. Number three, you'd rather miss an opportunity than to be rejected. You'd rather miss an opportunity than to be rejected. I'll give you an example of that. This posting comes up on your job. There is this opportunity available for a supervisor. You're qualified. Your numbers look great. But you know what? You happen to look and they say, Sister Jane is going to be applying for it. You really don't feel like the rejection. Now, you may be overqualified. You may be better qualified than Sister Jane, but Jane is loud and emotional. She's super competitive and she's very intimidating, or you may not feel that qualified. Either way it goes, you won't apply for the job position because you are afraid of rejection. Another one, we talked about this on the last one, romantic. A lot of times when they come, you're afraid, and this relates to the guys. You're afraid to shoot your shot with a female because you are afraid of being rejected. You are afraid. So you would much rather lose out on the opportunity to get to know somebody better than for you to have your feelings, to suffer a blow to your ego, Number four, you center your wardrobe around what others are wearing. You're not a trendsetter. You're a trend follower. You center your wardrobe. So if there's any big event, you're looking to see, what do you wear at a big event? Hey girl, what you going to be wearing? What you going to wear? That is a sign of rejection. One of the things now, I think most of us have suffered through that because we come up in a community like that. But one of the things that you have to do is you have to wrestle your way through it and say, what do I want to wear? What do I want to wear? Like why am I worried about what people are going to think? Now, I do want to make sure that I'm not standing out like a sore thumb. I don't want to go to an event and I'm overdressed. I don't want to go to an event and I'm underdressed. But at the same time, once I figure out kind of like what area code that I need to be in as far as it comes to wardrobe, I don't need to be worried about what they're wearing. I don't need to worry about what they're wearing. Number 5, you often put your foot in your mouth and then mentally torture yourself for doing so. Where the hands at? Where the hands at? You have a tendency, especially around certain people, because some people you're cool with, you just talk, you laugh, but around certain people, you just put your foot all the way in your mouth, and then when they walk away, you like, did I just say you look crispy today? Goodness gracious. I meant to say you look spiffy. Why didn't I just say you look nice? Why did I try to find the word spiffy? I ended up saying this dude look crispy. That's you afraid of your own personality. So now you open your mouth and say something silly, and you don't even have a chance to recover, because while the person is there, you're just like that. And they're like, oh, thanks. And you're like, you're welcome. Now you're plotting suicide. Oh, I think I'm just going to go drive off the bridge. You know what? No, forget that. I'm going to climb a volcano because the bridge ain't cool enough. I'm going to climb a volcano, and I'm going to go skinny diving inside of a blazing volcano. I'm going to Hawaii because I feel that humiliated. I cannot believe I just told that brother he looked crispy. Best thing to do is just recover. Listen, I meant to say spiffy. I don't care if he walked off. He's out. You see him again and say, look, I put my foot in my mouth. I meant to say crispy. Spiffy. I meant to say spiffy. I didn't mean to say crispy. I'm not saying you look edible. I do apologize. You look spiffy on today. Forgive me. And this is when you just show your personality. You just be funny. That's what I get for trying to find a nice word. I should have just said you look nice on today. But I actually put my foot in my mouth and said and I compared you to a piece of chicken. And I do want to apologize. We have a tendency to do that. A lot of times when we're intimidated by people, somebody will say something. Now, I've had people to do that to me, and it's funny. They'll say something and they just be like, and I'm like, it's cool, it's fine, what have you. But I just know that they too busy rehearsing in their head what they want to say, and by the time it comes out, they're gonna say something. And for me, I try to lighten the mood or what have you, because I know the torture of that. I've been tortured like that before. But just y'all. There's a thing I want to help you to hear this. There's this thing called recovery. Just recover from it. Don't drive home. I told that dude he looked crispy. I told him he looked crispy. He was kind of oily. Now he probably think I'm talking about the fact that he was oily because he was sweating. He said he just came from the gym. I told that dude he like a piece of fried chicken. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Just recover. Find them. Hey, I didn't mean crispy. I meant spiffy. Recover. It's as simple as that. Number 6, you torture yourself when you think people you look up to are angry with you. I think I said something similar to that on the last one. But you torture yourself when you think people you look up to are angry with you. You may address offense that does not exist. Hi, I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. When I said this, and the person is looking at you like, what are you talking about? Oh, when I said this and I did that, and they're like, yeah, I didn't think anything of that. Oh, I kind of felt like you. So you're trying to clean that up, or what have you? And the person didn't even know that you were thinking like that. You just literally went home and tortured the crap out of yourself. You tortured yourself to death. Oh my gosh! Now they think I'm messy. Oh, he think I'm a freak. Oh God! Now he think I want him. Oh man. I was trying to say, I need you to run those papers down to HR. But before I just got caught up and I went through a brain fog and I said, I need you. He's like, what? And I tried to recover, but he was looking at me with those pretty brown eyes. And I was like, I need you. And he just laughed and walked off. Now I feel crazy. Now I gotta find him. Now I'm thinking, oh, I'm overthinking it. Oh, nah, I hate this. I hate this. I gotta go find him. I don't need you. Okay, first, I don't mean it that way. I appreciate you. I meant I need you to take these papers down to HR. Right? Laying in bed doing it is torture. It is pure torture. You torture yourself when you think the people you look up to are angry with you. If you send a text, or you always you send a text and they don't think anything of it, but they don't respond to the text, and now you think. Then you go back and reread the text, and you're like, oh, that actually has some mean undertones. Because normally I'll put LOL or happy face. I didn't do that in there, and he probably think I'm mad at him. So when you see him, hey, I just wanted to clarify that text. Yeah, I got the text. What's the big deal? I just wanted to give some clarity to it. I didn't mean anything mean by it. That's the spirit of rejection. It's the spirit of rejection. Number seven. Y'all ready to raise them hands? Let's see how many people gonna raise their hands. You'd rather keep toxic people around than to be alone. Where you at? You'd rather keep toxic people around. You got that toxic friend, them toxic parents, toxic relatives, toxic man, toxic woman, toxic folks, because you're afraid to be alone. So you just keep them around, and the love him and leave him mentality doesn't work. It runs in my family, and I'm gonna tell you, it sets you up to just spend the rest of your life with broken people. That mentality. I'm going to keep him around until I come across somebody better. I'm going to stay friends with her until I get a better friend. It does not work, because there's a period of transition that you are denying yourself, which will not allow you to get to better, because you're still dealing with your last season. That's common. That thing ran in my family real heavy. My grandmother left her husband for his best friend. My mom would stay in relationships with broken men. And I remember she was in a relationship with this one dude. He was a bomb. Had this dude living in our house. He was just, all I can imagine him. If she put him out, he was going to be sleeping on a bench. He was just a bomb. And she was just so determined to have somebody in her life that she kept his butt around, even though he was toxic. He had bought another female in the house. He didn't want to pay no bills. He was just a bomb. And me and my sister, and big regret. I wish we hadn't done this. But this was 2009 when we did this. Yeah, around 2009, 2010. Me and my sister come up with this plan because we knew my mom. You know what? The best thing, the only way to get mama away from this dude, because she'd been with him like 9-10 years. 8 years, 9-10 years, somewhere up in that range. The only way to get mama away from this dude, she got to have somebody else. So my sister was like, I know this dude, he real cool. He got a little bit of money. I'm like, yeah, okay. Is he my mom age? And we end up hooking her up with this other guy. We introduced and they became friends or what have you. And that was what motivated my mom to get away from the other dude. And honestly, he wasn't all that much better. I mean, he didn't move in with her or anything like that. And he wasn't as toxic, but still, he didn't want marriage. He didn't want the stuff my mom wanted. So I found myself at some point trying to talk my mom into just being single. As I matured in the Lord, I was like, Mom, just you want to be married. This man don't want to be married. You're gonna spend the rest of your life alone. But she was so afraid to be alone that she'd rather just have somebody around, even though he, like I said, he didn't want to get married. He loved the fact that they lived towns away from each other. He can visit whenever he wanted to, spend a couple of nights, and then he can go back home. And I kept telling my Mom, I know you want better. And it was frustrating for me to see my mom in that predicament, knowing that she could do better if she just loved herself, if she stopped rejecting herself. She could do better, but she would not give that to herself. But you'd rather keep toxic people around than to be alone. I had that dealing with that. A lot of my friends growing up or what have you, they would be in a relationship with these broken men, these men that were abusing them, cheating on them, or what have you. And a lot of times they would keep them around because they didn't want to be alone or they needed help with the bills. Number 8, you've exchanged who you are for who you're pretending to be or who people want you to be. You've exchanged who you are. This is loss of identity. You put loss of identity in parentheses. You've exchanged who you are for who you're pretending to be or who people want you to be. Do me a favor and make sure you like and share this message. Make sure you like and share this message. This is another one that takes a lot of humility for you to admit to. You're not going to see a whole lot of hands raising, but I'm telling you right there, for those of you who raise your hands, you're going to start getting levels of freedom because you're admitting the first level to deliverance is admitting that this is you. This admitting that, hey, I don't know who I am anymore. I know how to be what people want me to be. I know how to be what people need me to be, but I don't necessarily know how to be my genuine self. When I get around people, I just show them my funny side, or I just become incredibly funny. When I get around people, I become incredibly mean. When I get around people, I become incredibly friendly. But they haven't had a chance to see the fullness of who I am because I'm afraid that they'll reject that particular person. Your personality, your authenticity is your authority, and it is designed to drive the wrong people away from you. You need to hear that. So while you're afraid of rejection and you're pretending to be someone else, or not showing them the fullness of who you are, what you're doing is you're getting false acceptance. They're not accepting you for who you are. They're accepting who you're pretending to be. And consequently, who you are is going to bleed through your personality at some point, and then that's going to cause you to deal with rejection from them or what have you. Number 9, you are incredibly self-centered. You can put emotional immaturity. It's the signs of narcissism. You're emotionally immature. You are incredibly self-centered. Now, signs of this for those of you who say, well, I don't know about that one, Sister Tiffany. You are always whining when you don't get your way. You take no very personal. You expect people to cater to you. You get frustrated when people don't answer your calls. It's hard for you to stay involved in something if you're not necessarily the center of attention, or whenever you're going through something, you feel like everybody should stop what they're doing. That's emotional immaturity. You're incredibly self-centered, and these are things we can work on, guys. So just understand this: admitting to it doesn't mean that you're forever broken, that you are irrevocably broken. It just simply means that you have to grow up, you have to mature. All right. Number 10, you have commitment issues. Thank you, Myron. God bless you. Thank you, Brother Myron. God bless you. You have commitment issues. It's hard for you to commit. Now, I can tell you that I have commitment issues. And when I say commitment issues, I'm not talking about relational. I have commitment issues. Now, the Lord is just really rebuking me on that. Relational, he's still dealing with me on that because I realize I don't like labels. Now, I don't like labels. Now, when it comes to relationships, I better have a label. But as far as friends, I don't like people to necessarily call me their friend, their bestie, and stuff like that. I like that title once it's just really earned. I don't like when people just kind of throw that at me because a lot of times people have these expectations attached to it, and I don't like people to committing me to something. Like a lot of times when people say friend or bestie, they mean I'm gonna talk on the phone with you every day. Like you got to give me all of your resources, and I got to talk to you on the phone every day, and you got to listen to me talk about my issues, and don't call me, I'll call you because I be busy when you call, and I don't want to talk to you all the time when you're calling because then it's going to probably be about you. I only want to talk when I want to talk about me. That's what I've dealt with. That's the kind of people I've dealt with over the course of my life. And so, yeah, God is still dealing me with that. Now, when it comes to romantic, yeah, I don't think I have commitment issues there. And I've yet to see that, honestly. Obviously, I've yet to see that because I've been single for 8 years. Might as well say 8 years. I might as well go ahead and just put it in my head as 8 years. But you have commitment issues. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The commitment issues that I have typically show up with schedules. I do not like schedules. I don't like them. Y'all, I don't like schedules. I'm sorry to yell at y'all. I don't like schedules. I don't like them. I don't like somebody say, hey, Tiffany, what are you doing Saturday at 8? I don't like it. I don't like it because I don't like committing to it. I don't like committing to it. For me, it's a lot easier Friday if you call me and say, hey, let's hang out at 8 tomorrow. Or what are you doing later today? I don't mind that. But like a week in advance, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just like we got church tomorrow. And I don't like that. In my brain, just knowing that I have, okay, I got to be at the church at this time. I love going to church. I just don't like the commitment of it. I don't like the commitment of it. And that is rejection. That is rejection. That typically comes from, just having bad experiences. And so basically you almost have your suitcases packed in your head. You kind of like a get up and go person. I can tell you where I started seeing rejection manifesting in me when I started going to my church. Before I started serving, I noticed that I always like to sit at the corner. Like when they trying to seat us and stuff like that, I don't like sitting in the middle at all. And I realized at some point that was because I like to escape. It was escapism on my part. Okay. Well, I love you too. It was escapism on my part. It allows me to escape relatively easy. But you have commitment issues. You have commitment issues. Another form of commitment issue is that you quit early. You quit easily. You never follow through with your commitments. You join Esther Prep University, you quit. You join, and I say that because I've seen students do that. And I'm telling you, hey, break the curse of quitting off of your life. You got to follow something all the way through. You got to follow something, right? Claustrophobic, kind of. But you have to follow something all the way through. You have to follow something all the way through. That's how you break that curse, is you have to follow something all the way through. But you have commitment issues. Number 11, you create drama in your relationships just to test the people around you. You create drama in your relationships. Like you may start feeling unloved. So you know what? I'm just going to act real funny with them. I want to see if they love me. I'm going to see if they love me. So people constantly go on punishment. They go on punishment. They don't know they're on punishment. They're like, what's wrong with you now? What's wrong with you now? I'm going to be leaving early. I'm leaving early today because where do I sign? Because I want to resign. But deep down in your heart, you don't want to resign. You just want somebody to stop you. Deep down in your heart, you want somebody to say, what am I doing wrong? What do you need from me? What do you need from me? And that way you can make your demands. That comes from you not being able to use your voice at some point. It comes from somebody taking your voice away. And so consequently now you're too busy trying to take your voice back. You're too busy trying to take your voice back. So you create drama in relationships just to test the people around you. You got to get delivered from that. And I would tell you to get counseling, because what's going to happen is you get married, you do that to your spouse. And honestly, I need y'all to hear me when I tell you this. I'm going to tell you something. You do not want to break trust with your spouse. I need y'all to hear me when I say this. Worst thing you can do with a person is to make them feel unsafe with you. Worst thing you can do with a person is make them feel unsafe with you. I've had guys that have flirted with me that I considered, I changed my mind about them just like that, simply because they made me feel unsafe, because they were unstable, because, they start showing like signs of instability. And I'm just like, yep, that ain't him. Nope. No longer interested. I don't have time for that. People have to feel safe enough. People have to feel safe enough with you to know that they can make a decision without you punishing them. Because at the end of the day, all of us have preferences and opinions. And when you rob me of mine and I rob you of yours, that's not a relationship. That's slavery. That's bondage. And if a person tries to rob me of my voice, this is one of the reasons why I don't let a lot of people close to me, because I found a lot of people are bound. Honestly, a lot of people are bound. And a lot of people are walking around because they've been muzzled. They walk around and they're muzzling people. They just walk around and muzzle people because they're emotionally immature. They get frustrated, and when things don't go the way that they thought they should go, they put people on punishment. They start treating folks wrong, start treating you bad, or what have you. And so you create drama in your relationships just to test the people. You want to see, are you going to fight for me? Are you going to fight for our relationship? Are you going to fight for me? And I'm going to tell you what that does to the other person is makes the other person say, I'm good on you. I am good on you. Like, for real. I'm good on you. You stay over there. We cool. I don't want nothing to do with you. I genuinely don't. I don't want nothing to do with you. As a person, I don't want nothing to do with you because I really don't have the time for that. You have to be very mindful of how you are with people. I don't like when people do that. So number 12, the last one, you delete and block people for not engaging you or responding to you on social media. I'm cleaning my friends list. I'm cleaning my friends list off, guys, because I got a lot of unengaged folks on my page. And so now I'm cleaning that's rejection. That's rejection. I had to do a clean of my friends list. And now you're trying to scare people. Tonight I'll be cleaning my friends list. Or if you see this message, you made the cut. That's rejection. Now you're trying to scare people. You're trying to punk people into responding to your Facebook statuses. You try to punk them into responding to your Facebook statuses, and then you try to make the ones who didn't get deleted feel like, hey, you lucky, you're on probation now. You get a second chance now. I'm trying to tell you, you better like my Facebook statuses. Don't nobody want to like a picture of you and Pookie. Nobody's interested in a picture of you and Pookie. That's rejection. It's rejection. Oh, I see it all the time too, and I completely ignore it. I'd be like, delete me, please, because you are not going to punk me into responding to you. You're not. I'm not going to get in the spirit of fear and be like, oh my gosh, I better like her statuses if I don't want to be deleted. Half the time, folks ain't putting up anything up there that's revelatory. And then if you send out the friend request, understand that you may not have some content on your page that interests the other person. You sent out the friend request, you may be interested in something that they're saying. And so don't think that those relationships always have to be reciprocal. It's like, and y'all also do that to influencers, and how you gonna send a friend request to Cindy Trim and then get mad that she don't like your statuses? The woman's got millions of followers. You really think that she gonna stop and be at her computer trying to hold her head up, and her husband like, baby, come to bed. I got 335,000 more, baby. I just don't need these people to be mad at me. Like, oh, no. People really think like that. Like, you gonna kill yourself to go through. I got 5,000 people on my friends list. People really think I'm gonna go through my friends list like this. Oh, I don't want her to think that. Like, it's too much. All right, now we're gonna get into the truth, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I think we're on good time. I'm gonna give you five popular rejection trends. How many I got? Do I got 5? Or did I put any more? Okay. 5 popular rejection trends. And then I'm gonna let y'all go because I got 2 classes to teach. And I want y'all to do me a favor. I want y'all to love me after I finish this. Don't take it personal. I need you to share it. I need you to like. I need you to share. Need you to engage. If you want to sow a seed, if it bless your soul. All right? Y'all ready? Okay. Number 1, surrounding yourself with beautiful and or powerful people just to prove to others that you are somebody. You quiet? No, I can't hang with her. Hi, girl. Your hair, your nails. Oh my God, they are so beautiful. Oh, what? Alexis, I'm getting it tomorrow. Don't let me forget. Inbox me and remind me. Well, one of the moderators remind me tomorrow because I got to go to church. So on my way to church, I'll pass by the post office. Thanks for the reminder. I really forgot. Oh, it's quiet up in here. It's quiet. Quiet. Where y'all quiet live? Where you at? Surrounding yourself with beautiful and or powerful people just to prove to others that you are somebody. Y'all be doing that in churches. How y'all bring that system in church? And ain't no hands raised because people are scared. Nobody wants to admit that that's them. Got one person that's honest. Everybody else is just like, I just thought they were nice. No, you didn't. What about cockeyed Susan over there? Why you ain't friends with her? What about that chunky girl with the uneven breast? Why you ain't friends with her? What about the dude with the lopsided head? Why you not friends with him? What about the girl who can't afford an edge control? Why you not friends with her? It's rejection. It's rejection. Rejection. Oh, he loves the truth. This is where you're gonna see Leviathan coming out. A lot of folks sitting there like, see Leviathan like, don't admit that. That's showing, because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. No is a word of intimacy, and he knew her. That meant he went into her. He slept with her. So when the truth goes in, that's when you know the truth, and that's when the truth can set you free. Is when you can say, Sister Tiffany, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like being around funny looking people. Or I don't want to be around people who don't really have any power in an organization, because I'm trying to ascend the ranks. I see myself as beautiful and powerful, and I want people to think I'm rich. Did you see that Lexus I got out there? Sure, I'm paying car notes on it, and I'm darn near about to lose my edges, but still, people see me. I'm a powerful Black woman. And I can't be around people who drive Suzukis, Toyotas. Ew. Girl, she drive a Toyota Corolla. I cannot, like, for real. I can't. Why y'all quiet? Why y'all, oh, that rebuke is hitting. Y'all, I feel the rebuke. I'm talking about there are waves in the spirit that are hitting y'all homes. Because a lot of times, see, you don't like this stuff called out. Oh, you feel it? A lot of you know you're guilty. You know, okay, we'll move on. We'll move on. I think this one hit you in the Leviathan. This one hit you a little too hard. It hit you in the Leviathan. We even lost some people. Some people went out of here. Hey, is we yeah. Man, amen. That's right. Get your freedom. Let everybody else stay bound, because they don't want to admit it. Surrounding yourself with beautiful and powerful people just to prove to others that you are somebody. Number two, look at me now mentality. Look at me now. I was a nerd back then, and they made fun of me and they rejected me, but I went up in the gym and I got myself together. Look at me now. I was a reject at one point because my parents were broken. I was wearing braces, and people, they couldn't see past what I looked like back then. But you know something? I sent they tell some friend requests. Look at me now. Look at me now mentality. I no longer look the way that I used to look. Y'all laugh. You rejected me. You wanted nothing to do with me. But now look at me. Look at me now. My head grew up. My head grew enough to fit my teeth. My skull caught up with my teeth, so I'm good now. Look at me now. Y'all talked about me, but because because my hair could only barely fit in the little rub, and I just had corn cheese on the top of my head, little corn cheese, look just a little bitty. But now they got weave out there. I'm getting them micro links. They got lashes, and I got some amazing features. That's all I needed was a little help. Now I got these amazing features, these micro links and these lashes. You can't tell me nothing, like for real. Look at me now. Look at me now. Now your man want me. You know, let me say this. When you think like that as a female, you are rejected. You just mad because your man. When I hear women saying that, I'm like, baby, you need help. She mad because her man want me. Who told you her man wanted you? And who told you that's why she's mad? Why are you comparing yourself? That's comparison. You're trying to figure out why somebody's rejecting you, and you chalked it up to her man wanting you. Look at me now mentality. Number 3, making fun of people who rejected you after you've attained success. And this is revenge driven success. You became successful just so you were just in classroom or wherever you were. It's all right. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm gonna look at them like this. I remember I used to have this thought. I used to say to myself, I was gonna do people like they did me. I used to say, because Mississippi, it's just a lot of fakeness all over the world, honestly. But people walk up to me, and I was broken. Whatever, they walk up to me, especially in church. Church folk is so. A lot of times, church folks don't realize that they'll call you rejected, but they don't realize you can see the rejection, that they are rejecting you. They'll reject you and then call you rejected. And I remember when I was, going to church or what have you, and it's not a big deal. It wasn't that they were bad. I come to understand that it's just a lot of times people they lack relational intelligence. They don't know how to have relationships with people who don't come from the same world as them, and they're typically scared of those type of people. And people would walk up to me and be like, "How are you? You look so pretty, baby. Your makeup looks nice. All right, tell your mama I said hello. Bye-bye." And they don't realize that when you're broken, you have a habit of comparing. So I see how you deal with other people and what have you, but you don't deal with me like that. And so that was the thing. I will look and I'm like, okay, 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 okay. Well, yeah, they're very cliquish, very cliquish. Honestly, it's the spirit of the world, spirit of the world. So making fun of people who reject you after you've attained success. But I was telling that story because I used to think to myself, I'm gonna get like that. I'm gonna get to a good spot and I'm gonna do the same thing today. I'm gonna be fake. I'll be like, "How you doing? How you look good? Your edges are growing back. I'm telling you, God bless you. Oh my goodness, you're aging well. I mean, I can barely see that liver spot. God had to heal me of that. He had to deliver me and heal me of that. And he had to get me to the point where he's like, I'm not taking you to success with revenge on your mind. Because that's revenge. You're not going across that threshold of success. I'm not going to lead you there with revenge on your mind. So you can let it go and you can forgive, or you can hold on to it and you can go in cycles and circles. And I was like, I'll let it go. He's like, how you going to treat people whenever I take you across? I'm going to love on them. For real. Love on them. Like me. And thankfully he got me there. I finally arrived there, and I genuinely love on people. Even though they could have been wrong toward me, I genuinely love on people. But you make fun of people who rejected you after you've attained success. And this is revenge driven success. You decide, you get successful and you're like, well, my portfolio, I'm worth this much right now. And you doing that conversation in front. Should I tell the story? If I tell y'all a story, no, I've told the story before. Like and share. How much time I got? How much time I got? Like and share. Had an ex do that to me. When I tell you, if I didn't know the devil was real at this particular time, I knew he was. I should have known it was real. He was real. Y'all be liking my stories. Y'all like my stories, don't you? Y'all like my stories. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sister Tanya. God bless you. Thank you. All right, Sister Tanya, I'm gonna tell it for you for sowing the seed. Thank you. So I was married. Just found out in a dream. Y'all know this part. Just found out in a dream that he had a baby on the way. God showed me the dream. I confronted him. He fell to his knees, whole nine. Admitted it. It was a hot mess. I wanted to divorce the man. He begged me to stay, swore, and so he talked me in. He's like, "Hey, we can go get the house of your dreams." We've been talking about getting this house because at first we were fighting about the house. We had looked at some homes, and seeing that the ones that we wanted were really expensive, he came up with this bright, crazy, cockeyed idea of getting a fixer-upper. And I was like, no, because I know he was lazy. I knew he wasn't going to fix it up. He was going to get that fixer-upper and he wasn't going to fix it up. So I would have been living in a raggedy house. And I was like, I'm not about to live. I'd much rather, no, I'm not moving into a raggedy house with you. No, because you ain't going to fix nothing. It's going to be every day. So long story short, we had been having that fight before I found out. Because we had went looking at houses and what have you before I found out. So after I found out, he's like, "Hey, we can have a house that you wanted, baby. We can go over to this neighborhood." So of course he's at this stage like he's trying to save his marriage. He's trying to save his marriage because he knows I'm checking out. I'm over this. So This is how you know the devil is real. When I tell you the devil will station people. So what ends up happening is I'm mad at this dude. I'm mad at him, but I've agreed to go looking for a house. I've agreed, or what have you. I've agreed, but I'm still mad at him. Hadn't forgiven him. Our credit score was very low. So we had been rejected by one company, and the guy said, "Hey, I know this guy, and we're gonna make up a name for him. We're gonna call this guy." I was gonna say Pootie. That's it. No, we're gonna call him Pootie. We're gonna call this guy Troy. We'll call him Troy. Something to stay on the safe side. So I'm always used. Thank you. But we're gonna call this guy Troy. So I know this guy by the name of Troy, who owns home. I mean, no, he finances home. He has his own financing company, and he works with high risk people. So I'm letting him take the full lead because, like, I'm literally mad at this dude. I really have very, very little to say to him. I'm just like, whatever. Now, I actually had a dream about somebody named Pootie writing me a note. It was weird. I'm not gonna go there. So I sit there, and I was like, he was like, babe, they said that this guy named Troy, he does lending. Now the name sticks out to me because it was kind of odd. So I'm like, okay. He calls me one particular day, and he says to me, "Hey Tiff," and I'm getting off work. I was working at AT&T. He calls me. He says, "Hey, I'm at Troy's office, and if you will come by his office." Now, mind you, I just found out the man that I was married to had not only been cheating, had multiple affairs, but he had a baby on the way with somebody else. And on top of that, I'm just trying to give you the height of the anger and hurt I was dealing with. I had just suffered through a miscarriage. I was literally still bleeding from the miscarriage when that first happened. I was still going through the miscarriage. So I had the surgery and everything, still going through the miscarriage when all of this stuff came. So my world was crumbling down. I was in a really dark spot. So he was like, I'm at Troy's office. So he's on Butt Kissing Street. He said, "I'm at Troy's office right now. Baby, you won't believe this. He right down the street from my house. Right down the street from my house. Baby, I believe this is God." Y'all, it wasn't God, it was Satan. That was not God. That was not God. And he was like, but he needs a copy of check stubs or something like that. He said, "Can you bring copies? Can you stop by the office when you leave?" Because I was getting ready to leave the office then. I said, okay. I go to the office. Yeah, who gonna sponsor this movie about my life? Who ready to sponsor it? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? I go to the office, and as soon as I go in the office, I see Troy. He do this, and I do this. I know the dude. I used to date him. He was a millionaire when I dated him, but obviously he had done a lot better. I broke it off with him because he was just not black enough for me. He was just weird to me. He was just really weird. I was kind of more pro blackish then. I was he just he used to laugh like this. I used to like, why you grit your teeth when you laugh? I used to do it. I'm ready. Okay, let's get some sponsors. I'm telling you. So I sit there. I come in. He looks at me. I look at him. What's that song? "He Looks at Me," that R. Kelly song. But he looked at me. I look at him, and then he said, "Hi, I'm Troy. Such and such. Nice to meet you." I said, "Hi, nice to meet you." So we pretend we don't know each other. We pretend we don't know each other. I'm still mad at the man I'm married to. So I go sit down, and I'm pondering, should I tell him? I'm pondering, should I tell him? Should I tell him that this is an ex of mine? And not only is this an ex, this dude ain't never stopped wanting me. This dude want me. The dude want me. I could have been business. Should I tell him? And the enemy comes, of course, and the enemy says, he didn't tell you. He got all these women. He did all this cheating. And he didn't tell you. This is the problem right here. This is the thought I'm having in my head while I'm sitting in that chair. While he's talking to the guy, I'm slumped in the chair like this, just because I'm mad. Thank you, Sister Tasha. God bless you. I'm mad. I'm just slumped in the chair like this. And he talking to the guy, and the guy sits there and he starts to boast. He was like, yeah, we're about to open up. I think he said his 5th location. I don't remember how many locations. They had several. We got locations in Memphis, Tennessee. We got locations in Arkansas. We're about to open up another one in Memphis, Tennessee. Last year, we made $5 million just from one location alone. Bro, I know you hinting to me. I get it. You're trying to let me know, look at me now. You broke it off with me, but I broke it off with you when you were rich. I don't care. But I made a decision in that moment, big mistake, not to say anything because I was still mad at that man. And I started having this thought like, for 5 years, you've been nothing but faithful. This was the devil. You've been nothing but faithful. You told him when his boys tried to hit on you, you told him everything. You have been nothing but good. Why are you going to tell him this? So I elected to not tell him. So he calls me another day. He says, hey, he was at work. He's like, hey, Troy need this paperwork. I told him I'll send you to the office to bring it. All right. I go into the office. Here. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, here. How you been doing? I'm good. Scene out of a movie. Y'all know the rest of that story. I ended up having an affair with the guy. A revenge tactic. It wasn't even in me to do it. Honestly, it was in my blood. I ended up having an affair. Come home one particular day, and my ex, he's talking to the girl that he been cheating with. And, he hangs up the phone. He hangs it up real quick. When I come through the door, I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, nobody. So I grabbed the phone before it was a house phone, and I hit read out. He tried to get it from me. I see her number. I already know about her. I'm like, and he was like, she caught out. I said, so I went into the bathroom, took me a shower, did my hair. Because at that moment, I said in my heart, it was the devil. And that moment, I said in my heart, now you're going to see how it feels. 5 years of me being faithful, 5 years of me being good. And even in that, it was the way the enemy set that up. It was a perfect trap. I wasn't attracted to this dude. But at the same time, it was just, okay, you want to know? All right, you want to know what that feels like? Okay, it's good. Forget it. Watch this. And I say, hey, I go to the front door, got my purse and my keys. I'm about to run to the mall. You want to come? I knew he was going to say no because he wanted to call that girl back. He was like, no. I said, okay. I drove straight down the street, parked my car around the corner, went into this man's office, hadn't said 2 words to him besides, hey, here are the paperwork, walked my tail into his office while he was on the phone and proceeded to try to rape him. And initiated an affair just like that. He was on the phone. Hello, Tom, I'll call you back. It was pure revenge. Pure revenge. And I don't even know how I can call it revenge because in all honesty, I knew I couldn't tell that dude. That dude would have blew my brains out if he known what I had done. But on my part, it was just trying to make myself feel better. Pure revenge. Oh, I was a hot mess back then. Pure revenge. How about I go mess with the guy that's going to be lending us the money for our house? Show you. The only one. I was a mess of a person. See, everybody is a two-sided coin. Everybody has good and everybody has evil. Thank you, Sexy Slim. God bless you. Everybody has things in them. The Bible says the heart is deceptively wicked. Who can know it? This is why you have to marry somebody who pulls out the best in you. And you got to get delivered from your worst. As a matter of fact, that was something I needed to be delivered from. That was a generational thing in my bloodline. And that was a spirit that was pushing those buttons. What's the password to get the adulteress out? It's there. What's the password? What's the password? What's the password? And at some point, the enemy said, and said, ding, ding. And I said, okay. All right. That's what you want. That's what you think you want. See, because men and women don't cheat the same. That's what you think you want. I'm saying that to say that was a sign of rejection on my part, but you want to be mindful. It's just one of those stories, but you want to be mindful who you engage yourself with. You want to be mindful who you marry, because you marry the wrong person. They will pull out the worst in you. They will pull out the worst in you. And it's not to say that he was fully responsible for that, because that was obviously something I needed to be delivered from. That was obviously something that I needed to be delivered from. I ended up getting deliverance from it because I kept repenting. I kept trying to repent. But I couldn't. I just kept, and I was dealing with so much shame because I was a Christian, but I was just a babe in Christ. And the last time I just really called out to God, I cried. I literally cried. Going over to the man's house, and I said, God, I can't stop. I don't even like this dude. I ain't even fond of the sex. I just like the attention, because he makes me feel beautiful. He makes me feel wanted. And I was like, God, I can't stop. I need your help. And God made sure. God gave me the help I asked for. He gave me the help I asked for. So making fun of people who rejected you after you attained success. We got 2 more. Losing weight, and then making fun of the people who rejected you when you were overweight. Thank you, Sister Marcy. God bless you. Losing weight and then making fun of the people who rejected you. That's a trend on TikTok. It's a trend, and it is asinine. Let me tell you what that trend says to me. And I'm going to say it this way. How dare you? How dare you offer somebody yourself and then get mad that they had the right, that they made a decision that, hey, I don't want you in that state. Y'all got to hear me. I'm not in tip-top shape. I could lose 60 pounds, probably more than that. There are men who are not interested in me because of my weight, who would be interested in me if I lost weight. Does that make them bad men because they have a preference? This is my question to you. Does it make them bad because they have a preference? Because they don't want me in this state. Does that make them bad? I'm asking this question. I want to hear your answers. Does it make them bad because they look at me in this state and say, yep, don't want a big woman? I want to hear you guys. Thank you. We got one no. I want to hear. I want to hear your answers, guys. Don't be afraid to answer. Right. No. It does not make them bad. It does not make them bad. Now, it's all in how I worded the question, because had I worded the question, if I had a worded the question, should I give them me when I'm skinny when they didn't want me when I was in this state? Then most of you would say no. But the reality is, we have preferences. And we have to stop getting mad at folks because they have a preference. It doesn't mean they rejected you. You are a spirit inside of that body. It could mean that they rejected the state that you were in. So it is possible that a man can reject me at my weight, probably never pay attention to me. And then I get to the ideal weight, and then all of a sudden he says, hey, Tiffany, how you doing? You're looking really nice. I would love to take you out sometime. It does not make him a bad person. Now, I got to test the spirit and make sure he's not shallow, because we have preferences, and it ticks me off that we have the audacity to act like this is normal for somebody to come on TikTok and to present themselves at 4 foot and 4'11" and 500 pounds, and then turn around and show themselves at their ideal weight and say, now you can't have me. My thought is this: you wouldn't have got with him had you been skinny, because we've seen this many times, where you see a couple or 2 people that are big. One person loses weight, and the one who loses weight start feeling themselves. Have we not seen this? They start feeling like, well, yeah, now I'm out of your league. Now I feel like I can do better than you. And they go out there and they start messing with somebody else. I want to say this. It doesn't matter what state you're in. You're a spirit inside of a body. Okay? Most people are overweight. This is the reason I'm talking about this. Most people are overweight, and not necessarily obese, but overweight. You could lose 10 pounds, could lose 20 pounds, what have you. Understand that you are a spirit inside of a body. Please understand that. Your body is not you. People are not rejecting you. You are a spirit inside of a body. And as such, people have to get to know your spirit, but your body could repel people, right? Your body could repel, like they never get to know you because they can't get past visual, because most people are visual. Not just men, women are visual creatures as well. But a lot of people can't get past the visual. But sometimes, hear me when I say this, sometimes you can simply build friendships with people. I'm giving you a secret. Sometimes you can build a friendship. Be cool, be nice. If you want to make a friend, show yourself friendly. Relationships start off that way. You can build friendships with people. And then the person sees your spirit. And the person may say, oh, I think you're amazing, or what have you. But the person at the end of the day, they still get to make a choice. To me, it is the cruelest thing to say, I want to give you me when I'm not in tip-top condition. But when I get in tip-top condition, I don't think you're deserving of me. That's how I read into that. It's the same as saying, oh, you didn't. If I look at a guy and I say, oh, you didn't want me when I was here. Now look at me now. Snatch waist. Yeah. Got them glutes going. Look at me. I've been doing them squats and all that. Now, that's crazy. There are people on here that is not answering. I'm telling you right now, that's how they're thinking. That's okay. He didn't want me. And I'm going to lose 80 pounds. I got myself a nutritionist. I got myself this. I got myself that. I got myself a personal trainer. And you know what? I'm going to get myself in shape. Then I'm going to go reject him. I'm going to let him see how it feels. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, because you are relegating, or you're demeaning your relationship down to nothing but flesh. You're reducing your relationship to nothing but a hunk of meat. It's wrong, because that same person that you was trying to get with when you were not in tip-top condition, you're saying, when I get in tip-top condition, now I'm going to reject you. So I don't feel like you are worthy of me in my best state. I feel like you are worthy of me in my worst. You're sending a message through that. Now, it's a different thing if I say, I'm not in tip-top shape, he's not in tip-top shape, or what have you. The guy says she's not in tip-top shape. It's a different thing if the person looks at you and after knowing your spirit, the person says, I think you're cool, you're really nice, I just can't get past your flesh. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That person may be, and it's still a matter of preference. It's still a matter of preference. But you have to stop doing that to people, because I always say, when I do counseling sessions, and when people have this type of rhetoric with me, oh, he didn't want me when I was big, and he didn't want me, and I'm like, girl, come on, let's be real. You want him because you're following a world system of league. You wanted him because he was in your league. Now, when you lose the weight, you're in a different league by the world system. You would have dumped him anyhow. You would have dogged him anyhow. You would have walked away. So you're really just saying he's only deserving of you in that particular state. That's what you're saying. I like to give language to people, because a lot of times people don't realize what they're communicating. If I get to know a guy and he's not in tip-top condition, and I love his spirit, and I say, man, I'm feeling him. I love his spirit, but I don't necessarily want him in this state. Then we would talk about the state and say, hey, listen, let's try to work that out. Because I am feeling you. I'm feeling you. I think you're amazing, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't want to wake up to you dead. I don't want to have health concerns. And yeah, there are a lot of things I don't want to have to deal with that. So what can we do? But I would dare not to sit there and get mad at somebody for rejecting me for not being the ideal that they want. That's not fair. That's not fair. And then getting in shape and being like, okay, want me now? Nope. Because you didn't want that. Who got free from hearing that? Who needed to hear that? The best thing that you can do, you are a spirit. Remember that. And I'm going to move to the last one. And then I got to skedaddle. Hear me when I say this. Your best out. If you're overweight, get into a health plan. But don't ever go into this, even if you're 10 pounds overweight, even if you're 20 pounds overweight. I remember this guy used to say he liked girls that were super skinny, like skulls. Like you can see their skull, you see their rib cage, you see that. Stop doing that. The best out. People are spirits inside of a body. Never be shallow. But don't marry somebody shallow either. Don't marry somebody who's shallow. Don't think that everybody who's shallow looks good. Sometimes people can be not the healthiest and still be relatively shallow because the only thing they want is they want you. And then the next thing you know, So you're a spirit inside of a body. Don't reject people because you don't necessarily like them physically. Get to know the spirit in the person. But then you still get to choose. And to the other person, don't lead anybody astray. But to the other person, to both people, y'all got to understand this. Some things can change, some things cannot change. Can you live with it? If there's no change, could you live with her in that state or him in that state? Or are you really planning to change, or are you just another person that talks about losing weight, but you're not going to lose weight? How serious are you? Right? It's rejection. And it's trending. This is why I had to spend time here, because it's trending on TikTok. I see that trend a lot on TikTok. It seems to be dying down somewhat now, but every time I see that trend, I get aggravated because I'm like, you're literally, and I've seen a lot of women doing this trend. It's mostly women. And I've seen guys stitching the videos and they're telling them, right, Sister Angelica, you are amazing. Thank you so much for the seed. Thank you so much. Thank you. But I've seen mostly women doing this, and I've seen guys stitching it and trying to get them to understand, like, you're wrong for that. How dare you come out here and you show yourself as a female, and you're not in the best shape, and then you turn around and go to the gym and you put the work in after you got dumped. After you got dumped, you get motivated. Because the message you sent in that relationship was that he was not worthy. Like, I don't feel like I have to give you the best of me. But since I'm not with you anymore, I'm going to go become the best of me. And then I'm going to reject you. Do y'all see how narcissistic that is? Do you see how narcissistic that is? That's crazy. That's crazy. So my point with that is this. And that was number 4, losing weight and then making fun of the people who rejected you when you were overweight. Do it for yourself. Whenever I go on this journey, I'm not doing this for a person. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because I want to live long. I want to be healthy, and I want to travel like crazy. I'm a hyperactive person. I like being hyper, right? And I don't want to be hyper trapped inside of a body. I don't want to have all that energy in my head, and I can't do it. I'm a hyper person. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. But don't make fun of people who didn't necessarily want you when you were in that frame. Because sometimes it's not the frame of body, it's the frame of mind. Did you catch that? Sometimes it's not the frame of body, it's the frame of mind that causes you to have that frame of body that people are avoiding. So, and it's the same thing when it comes to mental health. Sometimes people do these look at me now challenges where they talked about when they were breaking down and everybody got away from them. That nobody want me when I was breaking down. I was at the worst state. People walked away from me. Now I'm at the best state. So you mean to tell me that people got to accept you and deal with all of these depressive thoughts and you going through all of that? And then you go, when they get away from you, you go put the work in and say, now you're not deserving of the part of me that was a blessing. Right? It's revenge body. Y'all, that's not fair. I'm saying this from somebody who can lose some weight, right? I'm saying this from somebody who can stand a healthy lifestyle. I'm saying that ain't right. When I see it, it annoys me. It annoys me because I'm like, y'all, the shallowness is pathetic. Stop relegating yourself down to a body. I can pull an attractive guy if I wanted an attractive guy by just letting him get to know my spirit. Now, does that mean that he's going to be accepting? Because at some point he may look at me, if he a gym head, he may look at me and be like, all right, now I'm gonna have to get you in the gym. Okay, what you eating today? I was thinking about going down to church. I was gonna go to church. So that's the thing. I'm saying that to say we got to stop these rejected trends. We got to stop partnering with it. I love y'all. I've been out to and one of y'all on TikTok with no before after trend. That's some stupid stuff. Before it's crazy. Y'all can go back and get the pictures of me when I was a younger girl. Yeah, I mean, I get before after, but why would I do that? Right, church, right, churches. The chicken at the church. Can't say church is chicken out of trouble. All right, number 5, which is the last one. Then I'm gonna let y'all go. And then again, we're gonna do a third part to this series, and I'm gonna tell you how to get free from the spirit of rejection. And that's joining a movement just to be accepted by the world. That's you joining these false religions. You're tired of being rejected. Your family religious. They've been Baptists their whole life. Baptism broke. They ain't never, and it's been Easter speeches and coconuts. It's just been a hot mess. And now you're just tired of it. You were rejected in your community. You were rejected. Now somebody come up to you with a bone in their nose, and now you want to join a movement. Because now you feel like you found an identity. You can now call yourself one with Mother Earth. Right? They could be looking for a healthy point of view. And, a lot of times healthy people are very health-minded. Very health-minded. A lot of people don't realize that they're very health-minded. But a lot of people don't think, because rejection will have you looking at things from a malicious, people are being malicious toward me type of thought. And it's not that. It's not that. You got to always remember that people are spirits inside of a body. And when you're dealing with a spirit inside of a body, the first level of attraction is physical. That means that if a guy is not physically attracted to me, there is a possibility he will never get to know me. But if he got to know me, maybe he could be attracted to me in my heart. And if he got attracted to me in my heart, he may start going through these phases, looking at me like, okay, I'll have to fix. Okay. You ever thought about just fasting, water fasting, intermittent fasting? You ever thought about that? I'm like, what you talking about? You can go fry. Intermittent fasting? But it's letting people get to know your spirit, and then y'all make a decision. I think a lot of times people just get caught up, and it's annoying. Honestly, it's those trends that trigger me. It's those trends that trigger me, because there's so many people walking out here with rejection rather than healing, and having a one-sided view of things and not looking at things from a different perspective. I like to look at things from every angle of it, because it helps you to have a broader perspective, and it helps you to be more forgiving and more loving towards people. So number 5 again was joining a movement just to be accepted by the world. The world said they're gonna go get, what we gonna do? Now it's a new trend for the women to go get goatees tattooed. We're gonna go. It's a trend, but we're gonna have pink goatees, because we got to kind of distinct. We saw Rihanna. Let's say Rihanna did it. Now it becomes a trend. She comes up there with a pink goatee, and now everybody putting a pink goatee. Even folks in the church. You join in every type of movement that there is. You know every slang phase, every catchphrase, everything, every movement that comes out. You are a leaf in the wind. You get caught up with it all. I told my mentees yesterday, and I'm going to tell this to y'all so y'all can say y'all heard it here first. I don't know if it's already out, but it's going to be coming within the next year or two. They're going to be tattooing baby hair. They got fake baby hair now, but they're going to be tattooing baby hair soon. I ain't getting it because, there's an optic nerve. There's a nerve there. I'm not going to say it's an optic nerve, but it's a nerve there. And I think about that could be an aneurysm. But they're going to be tattooing baby hair. Watch. They're going to be tattooing baby hair. Yeah, BBLs are a good example. And honestly, it's the spirit of the world. You're joining all of these movements just to be accepted. You just want people to accept you. You want to look right. You want to feel good and be accepted. And I always tell people, acceptance is not the cure for rejection. You could be accepted and rejected the whole time, because the whole time they're accepting you, they're accepting who you pretended to be. They're accepting who you became because of trauma. They accepted the false identity, but they have not accepted you. So consequently, you're still being rejected. The true identity is still being rejected. Matter of fact, you are rejecting the true identity. I'm gonna give you a little bit of revelation. This is what causes a lot of sickness in your body, because your spirit is broken, because you're rejecting who you are in order to become who people want you to be. That's why I said I couldn't marry a follower for a man. I get annoyed with that. I couldn't marry somebody who is swayed by the world, trends. I can't stand it. Systems and cultures. He don't even know who the heck he is. So I don't know who we gonna be, because I gotta wait for him to come home from work to show who we. Oh, we gonna be Snoop Dogg this week. Oh, Master P, na. Oh, okay. What we doing this week? We 5%ers? Oh, no, Muslim? I gotta wear head covering? What are we doing? Oh, we fluid now? What's that? What does that even mean? I don't even know how to be. I don't even know how to be fluid. What do you mean? I gotta be male and female? What? Oh, you're going back to your baby stage? You're gonna come out of your mama's womb again? Does she know this? She agreed to it? What am I supposed to do? I gotta be the nurse? So I gotta see your mom's hoo-ha. And I gotta see you coming out of it because you got some type of trauma. And that's gonna be aired on and you want me to make out with you again? I'm supposed to respect him, God. How? Because I hear this whole thing about respect, but sometimes you have to really genuinely ask how. Wait, who gonna change? Oh, so you gonna do grown man poops in a whole diaper, and I'm supposed to clean that? I'm supposed to clean that? Then you gonna come home 2 days later talking about submit? Let's say this: a man who walks in his authority never has to use the word submit. I don't know who needed to hear that. A man who walks in his authority never has to use the word submit. I'm telling you this as a female. A man who walks in his God-given authority, they say something in the world that I kind of agree with. I click snooze. Let me turn this snooze off. I'm supposed to click stop. I kind of agree with, but it's not necessarily the right verbiage. They say something in the world, and this is just kind of off the beaten path, but they say something in the world about masculine energy and feminine energy. And I kind of agree with this statement where they were talking about women, like, guys talking about women having masculine energy. And I agree with the phrase that women really don't. A lot of times a woman who's had to be strong, it can seem that way. She's had to be strong all of her life. She's always had to take charge. She's always dealt with people who were, needy toward her. But if she comes across a man who is an alpha male, she will, by nature, by default, she will submit. I do believe that. I do believe that. And I do understand that there's some people out there who have Jezebel spirits, both male and female. But even in that, I have to be honest and say this. I think that even those type of women can, they James 4:7 comes into play. I'll say it that way. James 4:7 comes into play. Submit yourself to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. They will either submit and get delivered, or they'll walk away. They'll either submit and get delivered, or they'll walk away. But I don't believe that that women are inherently masculine at all. I don't believe that at all. I think that right now we're living in a time where you have a lot of brokenness. So you have a lot of women who are having to be independent, and that can come off as relatively masculine. And you have a lot of guys who need healing, and that can come off as relatively feminine. And when those two get together, if the guy takes the submissive role, the woman has no choice but to take the masculine role. And I know this is kind of off the beaten path, but he has no choice. And that's why a woman, to the ladies, the Bible says, wives, respect your husbands. To the ladies, I just want to just give this to you. Be very mindful of who you marry, because you want to make sure that you marry somebody who walks in his authority. You don't want to marry somebody who wants to take that role of you being mommy, 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 because then it's going to be hard to respect him. It's going to be hard for you to walk in to be the woman. And that's safety for a woman. A woman needs that. A woman wants that ability to be soft. A woman wants that. Even when you see that woman walking around there, Ebenezer, it's because Ebenezer punked out on her. And she need deliverance. Trust me. Ebenezer need deliverance too. But Ebenezer punked out on her. Ebenezer, get up in here, Ebenezer. Ebenezer punked out on her. Ebenezer left her hanging, and he let her be the head of the home. And what that did was, she's a weaker vessel. So she had to deal with the demonic attacks. And when she had to deal with them, it was a bit much for her. It was too much for her. And so it made her strong. It made her bitter. It made her angry. It made her frustrated. All the while, Ebenezer's in the room playing video games. Huh? Cut the music up. Act like I don't hear her. Ooh. Ebenezer. I know he hear me, oh stanky. So that's kind of off the beaten path. But y'all, I'm just saying that to say this, because I gotta get out of here. I'm saying that to say this. Let's be healthy on these streets. Let's get our minds together. Let's put the work in that we need. All of us need help from rejection, right? All of us need to get delivered from some levels of rejection. Make sure you share this with people, and I want you to get therapy. I have a dear sister in Christ who does therapy, and then you have Apostle Ivory Hopkins. Y'all get counseling, please. Let's get healed in 2022, for real. Let's get healed. Let's look at things from a different perspective. This is why it's always good to have a multitude of counselors around you. Let's get a different perspective, or what have you, so that we can make sure that we are healthy out in these streets. All right. I love you. Thank you, Sister Georgianne. I'm getting off of here. I love y'all. I will talk to you soon.